Hey there. I'm live, and I was all psyched out and ready to introduce a guest of mine, but she's not here. And so I'm not sure what's happened, but I've been doing the grounding and trying to get her into the space of where she could connect. My name is Amirah Hall, and I'm a psychic medium, manifesting mentor, and a quantum energy healer. And today we were going to talk about resetting our lives, writing the next chapter, so to speak, as life makes its twists and turns. So I've spent the last 25 years helping people turn their pain into power and manifesting their dreams, manifesting their realities, their wishes. And so I think this is something that we're all facing from time to time, various stages in our lives. I remember a good friend of mine in San Diego, and she would always say, Amirah, you've just reinvented yourself again. And yeah, that's the journey, right? It does take courage, I do believe, to reinvent ourselves, to push ourselves forward into the great unknown sometimes. And what I'm witnessing with so many people right now is we're so programmed, we're so trained, we're so educated, and we operate from up here in our head. And we think that everything has to line up, or at least we'd like to have everything line up before we take a jump or before we take a step. Now, when there's a death in the family or someone close to you, or when you're thrown out of a career, or when an illness or some life-threatening challenge hits you in the face, then you're forced to take another look. Up until then, so many of us just think, oh, if I get another job, this will be a better paying job. Or if I get a new relationship, or if I just get skinnier, or if I could just, fix this problem, then those problems will all go away. And, I guess sometimes that's true, but I think we need to, sort of step up into a level of adult maturity and step into a realm of wisdom where, we can accept that we're human, we're spirit beings having a human experience, and there's going to be blunders along the way. We're still trying to make it up. We're trying to figure it out. That's what I like to say. We're going to make mistakes. And if you think you've got it all figured out, you're dearly wrong, because that's when you think you just got it figured out, that's when life throws you a curveball. So I created a workshop. In fact, if you're listening to me live or watching the replay, I really appreciate it. I thank you so much. So if you like where we're going here, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Also, please subscribe. And if you're in a world of resetting your world right now, there's a link in the description I'm going to put there on the reset. And it's a brief video training that can walk you through the various aspects of your life. Sometimes we think life is falling apart all around us, but there's some areas of our life that might be really, really good. So it's important, I think, to not, harshly judge ourselves when everything feels like it's falling apart. And the best part is to be able to reset it and to say, and that's why I love the work I do in terms of quantum energy, because when you can see an energy where there's a block and you can release that block and reset it to a frequency or a tone that you would like to manifest, to initiate thriving instead of surviving, it's a whole game changer. And that's why I think that I've stuck with these tools for over 23 years. I've often said I've been on this journey for over 40. I've experienced a lot of different modalities. In fact, I was getting some hate comments on my channel on regarding on a short that I posted about Reiki not being what you think it is. Here's the rub. You can't see what you can't see. I can't see what I can't see. But in working with clients, I can see the energy that they can't see. And that's why the power of developing our clairvoyance, our third eye, having all these systems be not under control, but being able to direct your energy to see what you need to see or where you need to make a change is so powerful. So this person that was making the comment on the Reiki was saying, oh, Reiki, the person always feels wonderful and calm and relaxed after a session. I think that's fantastic. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. But what I am saying is that a lot of times a practitioner, and I'm not just isolating it to Reiki, because I've had an acupuncture treatment with somebody and their energy is transferred to me. So whether it's Reiki, whether it's massage, whether it's another doctor, I've worked on clients and in surgery. I remember one client years ago, she came to me, she was having a hard time getting pregnant. And she went to her doctor and told her that she had a huge tumor the size of a grapefruit on her uterus. She could get pregnant, but she couldn't maintain the pregnancy. So she kept losing it. So she came to me because she was afraid that she would never get pregnant, right? She was in a good marriage and that's what they just dreamed of having a child. So when I was looking at her energy, I'll never forget this, I could see this male energy just grabbing her wrists and just squeezing her and just, it was sort of like the preempt of emotional and physical abuse. So I said, that's what I told her, exactly what I see. And by the way, that's the thing that's most important as we learn and develop our skills, is just to explain what we see, not because sometimes the interpretation can be off. So when I said that to her, what she said was, oh yeah, she goes, I was married before to some other guy, and he was extremely restrictive and controlling. So I could see these chains, as well as he was holding on, I could see chains to her. I said, well, let's just move this energy out. So lo and behold, we cleared that energy. She went back to her doctor about 10 days to 2 weeks later. And guess what? That tumor had shrunk to the size of a lemon, from a grapefruit to a lemon. And the doctor said, oh my God, what have you done? He wasn't sure if he was looking at the correct MRI and the correct file. And so she said, well, nothing. I just saw Amirah. And then she whispered to me, she says, Amirah, he doesn't believe in these things. And I said, no, I could see that this guy is a diehard scientist, and everything has to be. So when she came back to me, she was really feeling unsettled because he was pressuring her to do surgery. And I told her, I said, that doctor has an agenda. He's going on vacation and he wants to get in his quota in the operating room for his hospital tenure or whatever he's required to do. And you don't need surgery. We are reducing the size of it in just 10 days. We do another few sessions, you won't need that invasive surgery. So I'm just trying to save you. Well, she didn't come back. She went and had the surgery. And what was remarkable is that while the doctor was cutting away the tumor, he said he's never seen anything like it in his entire life. The tumor was literally, or the skin, the tissue was healing right behind the scissors. It was almost an instantaneous healing from the surgery. So I was delighted to hear that. I mean, she didn't have to put herself through that, but it was great evidence at the same time that, wow, by moving the particular energy that was associated with blocking her from being pregnant was so deeply buried and so unconscious to her, she had no remembrance or why would she think that, right? Why? We are not trained to think like that. So again, the Reiki or any other healers, you can't see what you can't see. So the work I do helps you to understand and see the energies, and you become what I call senior to the energies, because when you can minimize the energies, you have a trump card. Basically, you have seniority over that energy or that influence, versus when Reiki, you're just channeling in any energy. And yes, you could command the divine, or you could wish upon a star and hope that it is Archangel Michael. But you don't really know that vibration until you completely know your own vibration and get familiar with the other energies outside of yourself. You don't have control over it. So I hope that helps some of you out there. I'm going to leave it right there. I am so grateful that you're here. Thank you for joining me, and I appreciate comments. Go ahead and sign up or get that free reset training so that whatever you're going through, whether it's a bump on the road or a major collapse on your bridge in life, you can clear some energies or learn what the next step would be. A lot of times we don't know where we're going. So clearing that energy that's blocking you from having that perfect clarity would be your next step. So I'll see you tomorrow for the live on Friday. That'll be my last day this week. Ooh, and we have one more week in March. I can't believe how fast it's going. So I'll see you tomorrow, 11 a.m. live Eastern.